Europe is pretty big. Sure, it's not the biggest continent out there, especially since you can literally drive to another country to shop in some cases. But anyways, it's part of the world's 7 continents. It is also the continent most people consider as the best in Counter-Strike. Case proven with the current HLTV rating, where 2/3 of the rankings are from Europe, although there is a significant drop from previous years. With the rise of Asians, yes, for example, the Mongols. And also the Americans, who act like glue, you just can never truly get rid of them. But today, I want to specifically take a look at the best Europe can offer. And that, of course, is the players. And that will be the point of this video, and probably why you clicked on it. So I'm gonna be ranking this as the best player of all time from that country, not just the current best player who is still playing. That way, I have more database to choose from, and also, some countries just don't have any current players playing, making this video a bit boring. I will also be using the FIFA list of countries instead, because there are a few countries here that aren't included in the European Union that could be an interesting inclusion. Without further ado, here are the best Counter-Strike player from every country in Europe. Number 1. Albania. Misuta. Starting with the controversial one here, Misuta is a French-Albanian player who previously played for Team Vitality and also Falcons for a little bit. He won 3 trophies during his time at Vitality, and also reached the quarterfinals of the Stockholm Major in 2021, and the Legend Stage in Antwerp. Stats-wise, he is average, with an all-time rating of 1.04 and a 0.98 against top 30 oppositions, so you could argue to put any of the B&E boys here. But the achievements and how often he had to play against these top positions is the reason I'm tipping this to him. Azerbaijan. Sugar. Not many choices to work with here, but Amin Sugar Azimov is my choice for Azerbaijan, as he played in 2 RMRs for both Antwerp and Rio, respectively. Although he didn't really do much in either of the teams he played on, with his record in the RMRs being 1 win and 6 losses, winning only 1 series against the international Sangal team. 1.05 KD and a 0.94 against top 50 oppositions, as he never really played against a team in the top 30, certainly isn't pretty. But again, there aren't many players I could work here from Azerbaijan, so well done, Sugar. Andorra. Kenny S.
Think hot.
Patrzę.
1 HP hot. He's last leaving. No, I have hot. Last
Pass
1
hot.
HP hot.
That side, hein.
Oh non. One squeaky,
Je sais pas, frérot. De toute façon,
Okay, this could either be Kenny S faking his flag on Faceit, or he actually has a family descent from Andorra. Andorra is a really small country between Spain and France, so I wouldn't be surprised if he is being genuine, but also wouldn't be surprised if he's just straight up lying. Anyways, I think we can all agree that Kenny Scrub, otherwise known as Kenny S, was one of the best AWPers during the early stage of CSGO, becoming a household name during his time at Titan. He also played in other big orgs, notably Envious and G2. Kenny S also landed himself 5 times in HLTV's top 20 best players of the year, and has also won 10 notable trophies, including a major in Kludgener Poker back in 2015. He also has 10 MVP medals under his name. Austria. Gore. Since there weren't any good choices from either CSGO or CS2, I decided to bring it back fully by including Gore, a player from 1.6. He played for Mouse Sports from 2002 until 2009, which was one of the best teams in Counter-Strike 1.6. Unfortunately, there's no way to look at his stats like how it is now with HLTV, but he did win 3 S-tier events, including IEM Global Challenge in Dubai, defeating MIBR in their first match with players like FNX on the team, then beating SK Gaming with players like Robin, who you may know as X-FaZe's coach, and lastly defeating Meet Your Makers in the final with Neo and Taz. Honorable mentions to Sengtae, who plays on the budget Eternal Fire team, Fireflux. Armenia, Norbert.
Could still find the entries. Won't be that easy, however. Norbert, first kill. Oh, he gets 3. Good.
Norbert, big swing, big swing. Aiming for the fences like Babe Ruth.
These two, Nealon and Kios, playing off of each other, could make all the difference. In this round, it's actually going to be Norbert lighting up this scoreboard the first time around, the second, the third, and the fourth as well.
Honestly, when I saw this country, I thought I'd be having another hard time picking a player. But actually, no, since Norbert got my back by being a player with Armenian descent. David won 2 notable events while playing for Virtus Pro, including the Rio Major with Outsiders, and is currently on the bench for VP, playing for random EU mixes while rotting there. 1.08 all-time rating, a great opener and closer too. He easily takes the spot for Armenia. Belarus, Lollipop 21k.
This is all about the pit, attack, and defense.
Yeah, Lollipop still holding. Oh, this is aggressive. He's gonna get out of pit. Wants to open the angle. They peek to try and find him there, and guess what? He's moved, and he's got 3 for his trouble.
This one is a close one between him and Tirina, who recently got signed at Heroic and also got bought by Team Spirit, and he looks really promising, but I still think Lollipop edges it for me. Although he has not achieved much, he did peak during the online era, where he carried Namiga to multiple RMRs and close qualifiers, bringing the Namiga stickers into the game, that are definitely not used for any malicious purposes. He also played in Flipside Tactics, last iteration, as they fell in the CIS minor of the London Major all the way back in 2018. Belgium, Screen.
Flash, 1. I have 1 more flash.
2 more banana.
Nice. Flashing.
Woo!
Why so easy? Wow.
The headshot machine, believe it or not, has been playing in the professional scene for a long time. Adil Scream Bernletom was a Counter-Strike source kid just like any other Belgians at the time, playing in a lot of French mixes before joining Very Games at the early stage of Counter-Strike's conversion to CSGO, the best French team at the time. Unfortunately, after his time at Very Games, he has always played for the second best French team instead, making him miss the 2 majors that a French team has won in the history of Counter-Strike. Oh, and if you're asking why I didn't mention his stats for highest headshot percentages, well, it's because he's actually no longer number 1, with Mobbed from G2 ahead of him, but still, second is a crazy stat. 1.06 overall ratings in his career. He was on a decline before moving to Valorant, but he's still a solid player. There's also arguments to put Existence ahead of him, as he was the player and/or IGL that revolutionized playing slow defaults, but Scream is the more appetizing choice. Sorry, not sorry. Bosnia and Herzegovina, Nico.
Award to be so early in this game is mad. They're not ready for Nico. Got to get out cleanly with that one. Fresh M4 picked up. Nico's still going, not stopping, not slowing down. Third gun, third weapon switch, and even more. Nico with all 5.
The best fry flow of all time also happens to be the best player from Bosnia. Nikola Kovac is one of a kind. 21 trophies in his name. He has won it all besides one thing, the Major. But even without it, he clears anyone from Bosnia, even his brother. Nico won in total 17 notable trophies in his long CSGO and CS2 career, with the majority of the trophies he won during his time at FaZe and G2. Nico landed himself 7 times on HLTV's top 20 best player of the year, with 6 of them where he got himself into the top 5 spot. He also reached 2 major grand finals, unfortunately failing to win in either match. But still, a very decorated career for one of the best players to ever play the game. Bulgaria, Cirque.
They're trying to see if they can end this map right here, right now. Cirque covering for the flank. Tariq down on the low ground. Another kill for Cirque, make it a triple. And now Tariq, not been a great map for him either, and he's going to be going down, leaving it all up to Cirque. And no one defusing the bomb yet. He sees one up, he flicks, he gets the kill. Now a quad, can he save it? Can he get the double OT? Cirque, you've got to be kidding me. He takes down every single one. An absolutely magnificent play.
There are a lot of things in this world where just starting the conversation can lead to danger, such as, who's the father? Or in this case, which Bulgarian player can I say for certain who isn't cheating or a match fixer? But anyways, I think we can all agree that Cirque, during his time at NIG, was a top AWPer. Peaking in 2019, he played for the North American organization and got into the semis of the Berlin Major of that year. He also landed himself at number 18 in top 20 HLTV during that year. Unfortunately, he hasn't shown those numbers for a very long time. Still, a great player from a country with a lot of great quote-unquote talents. Croatia, Depression.
Depression as well, that clock, it is ticking down. Getting to the halfway point now. This retake has to come through. Smoke deploy above XD, finds kill courtesy of that flash, even gets a second. Hype doing a lot here with the flashbang. Now it's just Depression, going to be flashing himself through here like a hero. Gets the third, transfers onto the second, and he has won the round. Even getting the third Depression, what is that? Simply unreasonable, you cannot do that.
Although I could pick Matthias, a young rifler who's dominating the tier 2 to tier 3 scene at the moment, and is definitely getting picked up by a bigger team sooner or later, I will instead pick Depression, what a name by the way, who has done a little more, such as winning We Play Academy Season 5 with Fnatic Rising, and other tier 2 events like EPL with the Serbian org iNation. There's also Roga, who played for Tai Lu, but he didn't really do anything there, and stats wise I think Depression is a better player. Cyprus, Dima. Had this been a list of the biggest gambling sites in CS2 and where they are located, I would have a tough choice to pick because for some reason, every single site out there has their headquarters set up in Cyprus. For players though, I still have a hard time. Except the reasoning is there's absolutely no one who plays this game professionally from Cyprus. Dima here is the closest thing I could find as a quote-unquote professional, as he played in 2 ESEA Open seasons back in December 2016 and April 2017, respectively with CEX Gaming, an organization based in the United Kingdom who had players such as Cyper and Linus playing for them at some point. He last played Counter-Strike back in March 2025, so unfortunately his CS career is probably over. Czechia, Oscar.
They got a plant there or something. Oh, gap in the smoke, that's a problem. Oscar! Get wrecked!
The young talent from Czechia, Thomas, otherwise known as Oscar, again, why, has been a mainstay Counter-Strike player for a long time, as he started his career in CS 1.6, where he played with the best team that Czechia has to offer, such as Neophyte. After the conversion to CSGO, however, he decided to venture into international teams, playing with Hellraisers first before getting the chance to play on Mouse Sports in August 2016, where he was really good, earning himself 4 trophies during his tenure there, and also getting 2 HLTV top 20 placements. But with Carrigan joining in 2019 and Mouse Sports having a rebuilding phase, Oscar was benched. But soon after, he played with teams like Hellraisers, Sprout, and of course, Sinners, which are the main team from Czechia in CSGO. He did not reach the same heights as he was playing in Mouse Sports. Still, the best player the country can offer, although Mattis might have a higher ceiling in CS2, I think he's still far from what Oscar has achieved. Denmark, Device.
But they do have a 3-man stack on this side. Device, who's had a really rough game, flashed. He's going to get that shot, and that has to feel a little bit going out middle of the air to take down Alex, and now they're pushing. Oh, you've got to be kidding me! He takes every single one from nothing to the AWP ace.
The hardest pick I've had so far. Denmark has had multiple players in various game iterations that I could pick, but in my opinion, Device has the upper hand for his longevity at the top. Nikolai has consistently been a top 5 player for 5 years, spanning from 2015 to 2020. And in 3 other years, he was also a top 20 player. 26 notable trophies, 19 MVPs, and 4 major wins, wherein 2 of which he was the best player. Although he has not shown those numbers nor event wins, as Astralis are simply just not what they used to be these days, he is by far still the best player on that team. A move to a team that is able to compete at the top would definitely revive his career as a top player. Honorable mention go to the rest of Astralis' Golden 5, with Glaive, who revolutionized the methodical defaults we have today, Zipix, who still holds the record for the most amount of clutches in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Dupree, who was a star rifler turned support, and also the player with the most major wins, with 5 majors under his name. Magus as well, the talisman that helped Astralis to become what they were during their era. Other players from Denmark who can easily make this list is Carrigan, for his brilliance of in-game leading in multiple game iterations and squads. Device is still my choice though. Estonia, Rops.
Star power though, right there at the tail end. Here's that 4K from Rops. We heard him talking about it as that round closed. He said, boop, 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 boop. Because it all comes too easy.
I didn't even see anyone.
I was spinning so much in pub.
Robin Cool, otherwise known as Rops, has pretty much achieved everything, including a major and multiple trophies. Stats-wise, he is also one of the best players on this list, averaging a 1.15 KD in his all-time stats, while in Vitality, he is currently playing his best CS with Zaiwu and company, as they already won a major and multiple trophies. Honorable mentions to HS, who was at one point a breakout player playing in teams like Optic Gaming, but he is not even close to what Rops has done with his multiple trophies and MVPs. Faroe Islands, no one. No, I'm not talking about the North American player who used to be a regular during the peak of rank S in CSGO. I generally just couldn't find a player worth naming here. There was a local LAN event played in 2017 to 2019 where multiple Faroese teams played, but none of them has ever done anything internationally. Here's a clip I found from that tournament.
Og så hever Frosa faktisk en gå, han møvelager til at han skal pika fram. Her har han 100 for opp. Så får han pika fram til Eris klumpa eller kvært. Frosa gamer! 16-14! Oh my god! First Mixon, så Frosa gamer, og Meet Your Destiny vinner disten. Det så svart ut denne løte, men det vinner faktisk sitt map pick av Nuke 16-14.
Finland, Alexi B.
One half.
Man, oh man.
Oh, this is also
Swings into Donkenshiro.
just a great tactic. One extra flash you use at the beginning of the round, just to pre-clear an area that they might be in. It's a great call from Alexi.
The pride of Finland, Alexi B first made a name for himself playing at Finnish org Habu Gaming, which then got him a chance to play for the best team from Finland, ENS. At his time there, he made an astonishing achievement, as only a year since he joined the team, ENS made it into a shocking grand final at Katowice, only faltering against Prime Astralis. ENS then proceeded to be the only team that could stand side by side with the Golden Danish 5. A few less successful periods where he joined OG Esports and also G2 followed suit, before he was picked up by Na'Vi, the Ukrainian organization, during their rebuild for an international lineup. With the help of Blade, Na'Vi's coach, Alexi B's team looked really strong, as they surprised everyone by winning the Copenhagen Major 2024, as well as 3 other notable trophies. Other notable players that came from Finland is Alu, who played in teams such as NIP, FaZe, and of course, the breakthrough Ends roster back in 2019. But the major win by Alexi B and other trophy wins makes me choose Alexi over Alu for the Finland pick. France, Zaiwu.
A Vitality that are in fighting form, looking for a playoff appearance, and this would be the 3-0 run. This would get them right there. Zaiwu might be the guy to drag him over the line, double down and lower. Got those Julies moving in for a little bit more body block. Zertian feels something weird in the smoke, he finishes him off, and Zaiwu is looking to it. Oh, 4 kills, tapping out 5.
You miss him, huh? You miss this guy, huh?
The man who was born in literally the year Counter-Strike was made, Zaiwu first made a name for himself in Face It, as he constantly destroyed other professional players, making them convinced that he was cheating at some point. But Vitality took a risk and signed him along with 4 other notable French players back in October 2018, where he has been playing since. Zaiwu's individual skill is easily the best so far on this list, as he averages a 1.25 KD in his career against top 30 opposition, the highest in HLTV's whole database. In his career so far, Zaiwu has won 17 notable trophies, including the Paris Major in 2023, winning the major on his home soil. He has also landed himself 6 times in HLTV's top 20 best players of the year since his rookie days, where he is consistently top 3, only falling to 3rd in 2024 during Donk's breakout year. He is undoubtedly the best player that has come out of the French scene, with honorable mentions to RPK, who dominated the CS source and even prolonged his career up to CSGO, playing in the same team as Zaiwu. But with how it's tracking, Vitality's super team will continue to farm even more trophies in the upcoming years, with Zaiwu as the talisman. Georgia, Schwarz.
Waiting for something there, but Under, you're going to see he's preemptively down here. 4 players to try and defend for Under. Be interesting to see what he can find here. Still playing it defensive and just letting the T's walk up in on him. Not going to get cleared. And finds 2 from Under with the pistol. Finds himself the triple, and a lovely job from him.
As I try not to pick any players who have only played in IESF or international tournaments, although Moise, who was one of those players, is also a top in Georgia's Face It ELO ranks, I instead will pick Schwarz, a young rifler currently playing for ENCE's academy team. He plays as an entry fragger, and although stats-wise he doesn't look all that special, considering this is the academy team, they aren't actually that bad, as they consistently place high in tier 2 to tier 3 events. And with Schwarz only being 18 years old, he might become a better player and get picked up outside of the academy levels. Germany, Carrigan.
Ready for Simple, spots his barrel, ready for it, hits the shot, a quick one! Not bad from Simple, they're closing the gap, 9-10, missed his shot, gets put down, Carrigan retakes!
While researching for this video, I found out that Carrigan is actually half German, hence why I'm including him as one in this list. And the Germans are not gonna like it. Finn Andersen, otherwise known as Carrigan, has had a long career in both Counter-Strike 1.6 and CSGO, as his first team was Volt Gaming all the way back in 2007. During his 1.6 days, he also played in Mousesports and Fnatic, 2 of the biggest Counter-Strike teams back then. Carrigan in total has won an astonishing 25 events in his career, including a major in Antwerp, where Carrigan finally broke the major curse after previously losing to Cloud9 in the Boston Major. With Carrigan's longevity and leadership, I think he fully deserved to be on this list. If we're talking full German though, I would have picked either Gob B for his leadership in Counter-Strike 1.6, notably at Mousesports while also being leader for a little bit in Big in CSGO, or Tapsin, who is currently still at Big, but showed glimpses of a player that could have been big, no pun intended. Of course, not anymore, especially if you look at Big's Twitter account, where they only post losing graphics every single match. Greece, Orze.
Code Winter 10, you get a store-wide 10% discount over at Extra 5. the leading peripheral makers in the industry. Be sure to check them out. It looks like Ambush are going to be checking out this B-bomb site here once again. Utility straight in. This is going to be a very aggressive play. They're not wasting any time. They're not hanging around this time. It is going to be first blood drawn by Ozek. The flash is not great from both of the teams, but Ozek regains his vision.
Although there isn't much choices for great players, Ozek has shown somewhat good results in the tier 2 and below, as he played in a few notable teams such as the German Orc, Alternate Attacks, and Penta Esports. His best result was winning the event of all time, CCT Season 2 against Bait, and also ESL Meisterschaft, the local event that Germany hosts. Hungary, Torzi.
Dexter's got to take a bit of a gamble as well. Good fight win. Molotov is down. Torzi sees the gun barrel. Oh, he
baby
doubles him up.
girl.
That's what they needed.
That's how you're going to get back into the round? Ooh. Torzi's terrific. Is he going to find Dupree as well? Apex is the only one left, and that AWP is searching for 5. Flash out. They had no business in this round, and my goodness, what a resounding thunderous shot. What an ace through the edge of the cart. Welcome to the big leagues, Torzi. That is about as good as it gets.
The Hungarian player first made a name for himself playing at Budapest 5, which was the best Hungarian team in a long time, before getting poached by Mousesports Academy team in May 2021. He showed insane numbers there, becoming easily the best academy team and even got close to surpassing Mousesports' senior team in the rankings. In January 2022, Mousesports decided to get him into the main team, where he has played since. He has won 4 trophies so far in his career, and also made a lot of deep runs into tournaments, with him getting into the semi-finals 3 times. Firstly at the Rio Major 2022, Shanghai Major 2024, and lastly, Austin Major 2025. He also got into the top 20 players of the year in 2024, scraping the number 20 spot. Iceland, Thor. Although Iceland actually has held many local tournaments over the years, even getting included on HLTV, none of them actually have gone outside of the country to play in international lineups or get far run into the major. So instead I will pick Thor, who currently plays in America for Fisher College's varsity esports program, with the team currently ranked number 61 in the world. Although he himself hasn't actually been dominating the NA scenes, unlike most European players who moved there with a 1.09 rating. The highest tier event he played was Elisa Invitational Fall all the way back in 2021, where he was still at the Icelandic team Dusty, and they placed dead last after losing all of their games. Ireland, Dizzaman. Although you could argue that Artis
finds one more, but GXX
Artist in the 1v3, what is he gonna do?
And is now on the
Start
hunt for
painting?
Artis.
could take the spot instead, as he still competes and played in an RMR once with Viperio. I will instead lend this to the American Irishman, Dizzaman, who notably plays for a North American organization, Check 6 Gaming, with players like Hiko, Warden, and Fraud. He played in 3 STA events in 1.6, with the furthest run being the Global Challenge in New York back in 2011, where they barely did not get into the playoffs after they lose against the Finnish team Winfact. Although individually Dizzaman was not the best player, he was still by far the only Irishman to have played on stages with the best of the best Counter-Strike had to offer back then. Italy, KNGV.
potential for a multi-frag. Nifty's got to be careful. Mihu goes in first. Legia biding his time. There's the trade. KNG though still delivers. 1 versus 2 after those frags. Moves around the corner just in case, but he's been smoked off. He's going to have to find a way to do this now. Surely this is not doable for KNG. In the smoke with an AWP. Down to the 1v1. Nifty's gone as well. Match point MIBR. I can't believe it.
Had KNG not had Italian descent, I would have had a real big problem trying to choose one Italian player who surprisingly has a very little pro scene. And when I tried to have a look at esports earnings, none of the top 100 players are a CSGO or Counter-Strike pro, which is very surprising for a European country. So being able to pick a major finalist and also a top contender in the tier 1 scene for quite a long time, as KNG played in teams such as Immortals, MIBR, and 100 Thieves. Well, actually the last one got cancelled because he threatened another player, so oh well. But still, a really good career, and I will choose him as the player for this list. Kazakhstan, Hobbit.
Ninja decides to stay forward, looking to play off the back of the flash now. Smoke fading, not going to favour him with the smoke there. All 3 players looking to filter their way out of elevator and just waiting for the util to come through. They know that Shiro's got this orb cranking, missed flick, uncharacteristic. As Hobbit now in a 1-on-4 needs to clutch it. No one tapped the bomb just yet, but he's going to start to thin the numbers of the CT. Peeking Hobbit clutches with a 4K.
That's ridiculous. Hobbit with the spray. Oh, dear me. That's around the gap.
Honestly, this was the hardest one to choose by far, as I was torn over picking either MVP Major Adren or Hobbit. But I choose to lean towards the latter, because Adren at his later stage towards his career was pitiful at best. But Hobbit has many things to back up himself being chosen, as he won the major and another A-tier event with Gambit Esports, and also had a resurgence where he returned back to Gambit after unsuccessful stints at multiple CIS squads. But he firstly joined the Gambit Youngsters squad before they were converted into the senior team, which Gambit proceeded to win and dominate 2021. Hobbit was putting back his old numbers again and even reached the top 20 best players of the year, where he landed himself at number 6 in 2021. Kosovo, Juan Flatro.
You can just keep trying. Look, mate, it's a little B-pop, right? Synopsis up at the front. Sugar. Oh, lorded over by Juan Flatro, who's on for a double. These openers are clean. Bro, I don't know. What can you even do against this? Like, look at him. Oh, Juan Flatro.
Get him.
Yeah, it's on for the ace. He's not going to get
Twice.
it.
I could honestly just name the whole BNE squad, but Juan Flatro, who is their star rifler, takes it for me. You've probably already seen the Cinderella runs that BNE has done over the years to qualify for the major, as they managed to do that 3 times consecutively before CSGO officially closed. With all 3 times they managed to get into the legend stage. And although Juan Flatro was definitely not the only player that stands out, stats wise he is the most consistent, with a 1.16 KD in all competitions during his time at BNE. Honorable mentions go to Makazi, who currently plays for Navi, after playing in the Navi Junior squad for a little while. Latvia, Broky.
Deagle in hand and right down in front. He takes Nico out, delivers the bomb right to him. Oh, that is disgusting. It should never be possible, but he's found 3 kills. And that is gonna throw the round into question, a 4th one.
Honestly, I was really torn on picking Yekindar over Broky, because the 2021 form that Yekindar showed under the Virtus Pro banner was incredible. He was hitting numbers an entry fragger should never hit. But Broky also had a really good years in his bag, except he suffers through the not the best player on his team syndrome, as he always has someone else in FaZe outshining him. Nevertheless, 1.11 all-time KD rating, 11 trophies including the major in Antwerp, Broky is one of the players of all time, but in Latvia he is the best. Lithuania, JL.
Well, he's playing a very dangerous game. Iman not anticipating a second, kicks and trades the death of Teslas, and JL's doing it all.
3 bullets.
Can he come up clutch? This would be monstrous. And JL, only needs the one! A one tap to the AWP's face and the quad kill comes through!
The happy face killer, JL was undoubtedly the best players in CS2. After he bounced around a few tier 2 teams, he proceeded to join Apex, where things really got going for him, especially at the Paris Major, where he reached the semi-finals with Apex. After his amazing showing at the tournament, Na'Vi brought him in, and he has been the talisman to Na'Vi's success, winning 4 events in 2024, with their first being the Copenhagen Major, where JL also got the MVP for that event, and also MVP for EPL Season 20, another event he won. By the end of 2024, JL was nominated as the 6th best player of the year by HLTV. Honorable mentions to Bimas, who did have a few short instances of success in various teams, and also Esperanto, who could have been the next big thing when playing at a team called Crazy back in 2019, with names like Hunter and Nexa alongside him. Luxembourg Marex.
Kicking, and the Deagle can kill both his enemies with one precision shot to the body, but he misses the spray on the second, letting his opponent get away. He thinks he's in short now, dancing around the box, still hits the head, not required, but certainly welcome. And
another small country in Europe. There weren't many choices I can pick, so I will go with Marex, a 21-year-old rifler that is pretty much a journeyman with Counter-Strike terms. I'm not sure if that's because he's just not good enough or what. But since every other choice for Luxembourg literally hasn't even gone out of the country, or are players who represent their national teams to play in national team events, but nothing outside of that, he is really the only qualified person on this list. Marex's biggest achievement so far in Counter-Strike is getting into the RMR stage of the Antwerp Major in 2022 with Sprout, which they finished dead last, losing against CPH Flames, Heat Esports, now 3D Max, and then Endpoint to finish 0-3 in the stage. With Marex having a 1.01 KD in that event, which isn't awful considering he lost all of the matches, the one big event he played in his career so far, EPL Season 15, he finished with a horrific 0.87 KD, as Sprout only managed to muster up 2 maps wins against outsiders, which is Virtus Pro and ENCE, while losing every other match 0-2. Not the prettiest career, but in Tier 2 to Tier 3 standards, he has been showing a lot better numbers and results, so maybe we'll see him play in a bigger event once more. Malta.
Gun frags here from Renegades. A flash perhaps to aid the endeavor. Malta's gonna slip into the bomb site. Now he's got cover behind. OC just gets popped, and all 3 of these players are the ones low health. Another follow-up kill. Bomb planted for the pit peak, but Sicko's doing a great job of cover, and now that bomb being tapped, he's got Modem out, and he's got Modem down. 8 rounds for Renegade.
That was close. Yeah, if he just crossed behind that half wall, he would have been good, but
Yes, that is a player named Malta who has Maltese nationality. The Australian Maltese is an Oceanic region journeyman, playing on pretty much every level of Aussie Counter-Strike, but mostly remembered during his time at Greyhound, where he played with the likes of Dick Stacey, and qualified for a few majors with them, almost going through to the Legend stage in Berlin Major 2019, as they finished with a respectable 2-3 scoreline, losing their last match against Vitality. As Malta mostly played against Australian farmers, his stats looks astonishingly high, with a 1.10 average KD in HLTV's database, but things looks pretty grim when he set it to top 30, where his average stats drop a massive 0.2 into a 0.9 KD. Still, over 100,000 prize money won as a player, and probably a lot more money from salaries and stickers, so I'd say he's not doing too badly. Moldova, Reslux.
Sandwich on.
Stairs.
Possibly the most interesting career out of everyone on this list, Reslux first made a name for himself in the Russian squad Gun 5, playing in local tournaments in the CIS area before getting picked up by Indian organization Marcos Gaming, where he was so much better than the teammates he had, it was kinda sad to see. He played in the Sky Esports Championship Indian qualifiers, and even though he was the 3rd highest rated player in the whole qualifier, it was not enough to carry the squad, as they crashed and burned without much of a fight. After a miserable few months playing in India, the organization disbanded, and Resolux went back to EU again to play with the Kazakh majority mixed Meteor, where he was doing alright stats-wise, which got them signed by game agents, where again, Resolux carried the hell out of the squad, but they still failed to do anything. The only event registered on HLTV that we can see them playing is ESEA Advance, where game agents managed to only win 1 game, even though Resolux did really well. He's currently teamless, but I definitely expect to see him on a team again sooner or later. Montenegro, Madden.
He's going to stick around towards Silo. Knows one's in Toxic.
Shoot him for the wall. Don't play around with it, Madden. This is already a 1 in 1,000 round, so you might as well go for it. From a 1 versus 4 into a 1 versus 2 pretty quick. There's a grenade set up, and time is running out for it. He's just ice cold. Picks up the first one, and now ready for it. Carrigan up and and he gets it. An unbelievable clutch coming out from Madden.
Montenegro's pride. Madden started his career playing with a Serbian mix, who did alright, which got them signed by Blue Jays. He was a lethal rifler, always putting up good numbers consistently, which got noticed by Crystal, at the time one of the most respected IGLs in the scene. Well, not really, but he's been playing a long time, I guess. He then played with him under both Smash and Godsend. Then Fun Plus Phoenix, the Chinese organization, bought the lineup hoping to qualify for the major and get that sticker money. But as they failed to do so in Stockholm 2021, FPX folded their CS division in less than a year, transfer listing their whole team and left Madden homeless. However, in January 2022, ENCE picked him up, where he showed his best Counter-Strike, earning a semi-final spot at the Antwerp Major and also reaching the Legend stage twice in the next 2 majors. Seeing the success, Falcons decided to buy the trio of Madden, Snappy, and Sampires, hoping for the same success, which ceased to be the case as Madden and company failed to qualify for Copenhagen, and as Falcons are in the midst of building a super team, Madden is now left to rot on Falcons' bench. Netherlands, Chris J.
Long. I do believe that with at least a decent amount of rounds, this is possible, and Chris, he almost gets 2 there. In fact, he's going back for more. Feeling the confidence is Chris J, and he gets the last as well. This man's come out of nowhere with an ace to close the round. Mousesports, they needed a hero, and of course, it's Chris J to deliver.
The Dutch have always been pretty underwhelming in terms of making Counter-Strike talents, with the only talents who have broken through to the tier 1 scene being Bong J, Fasher, and maybe Crucial, if I'm being nice. Chris J is easily the best out of the 3, as he managed to play under Mousesports' banner for as long as I can remember, with him having the FaZe Olofmeister treatment, where he gets put in the active to inactive squad multiple times. During his time at Mousesports, Chris J won 8 trophies with multiple different iterations of the team. He averaged an exact 1.00 KD under the mouse banner, which makes you question how he managed to stay that low. But he did become a support player around 2017, as the AWPer role was taken away from him with the Oscar edition. He proceeded to play at FPX on loan for a little bit before calling it quit in 2022, as his contract with Mousesports ran out. North Macedonia 6. Although most would put Gixen as the best player from North Macedonia, I still think 6, during his short stint career in CS 1.6, was one of the best players to ever touch the game. He mostly played as a rifler or a second AWPer throughout his career, with a 1.17 all-time rating in CS 1.6, winning many events with Mousesports like IEM 2, EU Championship Finals, and Global Challenge Dubai. Unfortunately, 6 passed away on July 29th, 2010 in a car accident after he missed the flight to play in IEM Global Challenge 5 Shanghai. Gopi, who was at the time Mousesport's team player and captain, shared his thoughts about it on a HLTV article. He was the driving force, for sure, and he was always improving as a hybrid player with impressive rifle control and flashy AWP. Rest in peace, 6. He will always be remembered. No way, Rain.
28 seconds, Rain knows he wants to just catch him in it! They walk straight through him, touch him in fact, and he's gonna get 2. The chaos is brutal.
Obviously then they have the boost up from Nico as well. Rain actually gonna go around the edge of the smoke, okay, having an easy time so far, finds himself the ace.
Just like Chris J, feels like he has been playing on FaZe for as long as people remember. Except with Rain, his career has actually been a lot longer than Chris J's, and he did play in a few world beaters even before FaZe. He first made a name for himself under the London Conspiracy banner with a Norwegian lineup. London Conspiracy then got bought by LGB Esports, where they qualified for another major once more, namely Katowice 2015. Then, in May 2015, Kingwin did something that at the time was an extremely rare occurrence. In fact, I don't think there was one in the top scenes back then, which is making an international lineup. The team was pretty good, qualifying for the Cologne Major in 2015 and even winning a smaller events like Gaming Paradise. Oh no. Anyways, after his time at Kingwin, G2 bought the lineup and made a few changes, which worked out pretty well for them, as they got to the semis in the Cluj-Napoca Major. Rain himself was also consistently playing well in every team he played on. But with G2 planning to play with a French lineup, Rain decided to join the FaZe Clan project in January 2016, where he has been since, the first until the current project FaZe Clan has made. Although stats-wise, Rain has a dip in numbers, he was there during every rise and fall phases had, with him winning 20 notable trophies, all of them won during his time at FaZe, and also the Antwerp Major where he was the MVP. He was also nominated in the top 20 best players of the year 3 times, 4th, 18th, and 13th for the years of 2017, 18, and 2022 respectively. Poland, Neo. One of the best CS 1.6 players, some may argue he was the best with only 2 players that could go band for band with him. Neo was already a professional from all the way back when Counter-Strike just released, with him playing in multiple Polish lineups before joining Pentagram, the first team he was under that was able to play in international events and have some success. He was winning an insane amount of money for that time too, such as winning the first IEM event, getting them a prize of $53,000. Neo won 4 other S-tier events with Pentagram, with 7 more added to the cabinet under different names and organizations. After the switch from 1.6 to Go, Neo continued to play, as he is notably remembered as one of the players in Virtus.pro's Golden 5, a fully Polish team that was starting to get some steam, as they were able to win their hometown major in Katowice 2014 during an era where NIP and Fnatic were expected to do well. Neo managed to stay on this team for a long time, as the core lasted for over 5 years without any player changes, and that earned them a few trophies, 10 to be exact. But at this point, Neo was no longer the star player as he was in 1.6, leading to him being benched by Virtus.pro. He proceeded to play in FaZe Clan. No, not as a coach. This was all the way back in 2019, so he was still playing. And well, he was benched shortly after as they plummeted down the rankings and Neo was stinking up the place with horrible stats. Finally, after a long 23 years career, Neo decided to retire and convert into a coach. His longevity alone could get him into this list, but he was also a really good player at one point of his career and also got trophies to show his worth. Honorable mentions to the rest of the Virtus.pro members, as any of them could easily be on this list as well. Portugal, Fox.
Não tem no esta conversa.
Não, eu sei quantas tenho, mano.
Cuidado, Bia. B, Marinha. Passou Marinha. May tomato map.
Most new gens of Counter-Strike fans probably don't even know who Fox is, and would think that I would go for one of the guys who played at Seoul, especially Muderis, who has been the face of Portugal Counter-Strike for a long time. But Fox was one of the few players from Portugal who actually got a chance to play in Tier 1 and took it without looking back, playing in international lineups such as G2 and FaZe. Although trophy-wise, Fox has only one A-tier event, winning Gaming Paradise under the Kingwin name tag. He was consistent and was a solid output for a team in top 10 or top 20 in the world. Although Fox never really had a prime year, his achievements and longevity made him an obvious pick for Portugal for me. Romania, Imma.
Take a look at the post plan that Na'Vi are trying to set up right now. So somebody over towards the platform and tall box position. Wonderful will take up big box. They've got somebody towards Donut, make it 2, and a player patrolling main. So this should be Na'Vi's round.
Oh, he's real clean with it. From Bit in the round before to Imma in this one, the multi-kills.
Romania for many years never really had a player that popped up in the Tier 1 scene, with the best local teams like Nexus only showing up in Tier 2 or below. But in 2023, Imma had his breakout year at Tier 1, where he introduced himself to the Counter-Strike world, reaching the grand finals of the Paris Major with Gamer Legion, getting an EVP for his efforts as he reached a 1.35 KD and a 1.53 impact in the whole competition. Na'Vi signed him shortly after, where Imma had a short fall off from his numbers at Gamer Legend, but quickly recovered, winning 4 S-tier events including the Copenhagen Major. Currently Na'Vi is having a slump year, but Imma is still putting up numbers, although it's definitely a lot lower than his peak. He'll definitely get back in form after the major, I'm sure. Russia, Donk.
And TCT were like, yeah, do you know what? You have to play through the close qualifier to get in. They did it. And well, Donk showing us exactly...
Oh my word.
My God. You can't swear on the broadcast, but that nearly brought me to it. Donk even once more. Hunting for it, Alexi.
Although his career has been fairly short, and Russia is also one of the biggest Counter-Strike enthusiasts, which made a ton of players eligible for his pick, Donk in his 2 years at Spirit so far has shown me numbers and impact I have never seen from any player. To have your first LAN ever played and then get a record-breaking 1.70 rating, a number that has never been reached by anyone in a Tier 1 LAN tournament, as a rookie too. I know this could be a 10-minute session of me glazing this kid who is younger than me, but he already has potential to be the greatest rifler in Counter-Strike history. Maybe even the greatest player ever. I also can't gloss over that besides the individual trophies he has gotten, with 2024 being his rookie year in Tier 1 and he instantly got that #1 spot. He also won the Shanghai Major, where Donk got his first ever major medal and MVP. Speaking of MVPs, he has 10 of them so far, the same as other legendary players like Kenny S and Gatright. Generational talent, and it would be shocking from me had I not included him here. Honorable mentions goes to Electronic, who was also at one point a generational talent while playing in Na'Vi, and Monesi, who was also #2 best player in 2024, only losing to Donk. Serbia, Hunter.
Attack pause.
I suppose we'll walk out A. Y'all gonna get shredded. MP9? See ya! 4 out of Hunter. How about an eco ace?
Since I already put Nico on this list and I don't really want to put a player name twice, I will instead put Hunter, his cousin. Hunter first popped up in the Tier 1 scene with a team called CR4ZY, or simply known as Crazy, but with that logo, you might as well call it Trapped. Both him and Nexa, the Serbian duo, were fragging like crazy at the Berlin Major. Haha, get it? With Hunter having a 1.02 ratings as a rookie. Right after the event, G2 swooped both of them up, with Hunter swiftly becoming the star player. However, he began to start taking more support roles after Nico joined the team, having the star rifler role taken away from him. But of course, any team with Nico is bound to win something, as Hunter won 6 trophies so far in his G2 tenure, 2 MVPs at Katowice 2023 and CS Summit 5, and has been a top 20 player of the year 4 times, from the year 2020 to 2023 in a row. Unfortunately, although he has come close, especially at the Stockholm Major, Hunter has yet to establish himself in the history books, as he failed to win it with G2 in 2021. An honorable mention to Nexa and Emmy, with the former, Nexa, a lot closer to being on this list, had he not had a massive fall-off in stats during his second stint with G2, this time as a rifler instead of an IGL. Slovakia, Frozen.
Outsiders are very much poised to fight here. There's no, playing a long game on this one. They are fighting every step of the way, and that's not the start they wanted. Oh, it's gone even worse. Fame dropped. Jane does what he can to bring it back, but Frozen's on a tear.
Watch
2 to
this.
his name right now, and a third man at the sandbags deleted. Frozen's opened up B.
Frozen has been a mainstay franchise player, mainly for Mousesports and FaZe. His talents were already showing at a very young age, as he was already playing with the, at the time, best roster from Slovakia, Ecstatis, at the young age of 15. But when Carrigan was in his process to rebuild the Mousesports roster, he decided to bring in the 16-year-old Frozen into his team, which turned out to be an amazing choice, as he became one of the star players along with Rops and Woxic, winning multiple trophies and getting really far in a lot of events. But after Rops decided to leave on a free to FaZe Clan, Frozen also followed suit pretty quickly, replacing Twist after he ran out of his contract to join Liquid. So far, his career hasn't been the greatest at FaZe, but he has shown no signs of dropping off individually. So even if this new FaZe project with Jacob doesn't work out, I'm sure he's gonna continue his performance elsewhere. Slovenia, JKXY. Slovenia has and had 0 Tier 1 players. Even from older CS versions, I could not find a single player worth talking about. JKXY is one player I can find who has played more than a handful of HLTV matches, although stats-wise, he isn't very good. He plays for Damien Esports, which I'm pretty sure is a hard-stuck ESEA main team anyways, as I was scrolling through their social media and I see them losing against teams and organizations who I've never even heard of, or orgs I forgot existed. Honorable mentions to Savvy, which you could argue for having longevity, I should have picked him, but does it really matter when you're just a hard-stuck tier 3 or lower player? Okay, maybe I'm being too harsh on Slovenia. The country looks pretty nice, and Jan Oblak is a great goalkeeper, but that's all the nice things I can say about them. Spain, St. Pius.
Backman advantage. Norbert shaving Madden off of sight. Magus tries to press in, looking for the kill up towards top construction. And as he spams away, this is the retake opened up before the bomb even reaches halfway. They are down to just Sun Pius. And he's done a good job of dodging the first. Oh, he lines up 2 kills, peeks for the third. Sun Pius sees the offer, trying to close that gap. It's a good reposition and a beautiful.
I know all the Mixwell fans will hate this one, especially since he was really the only dying light for Spain, at least during the rise of CSGO. But Sun Pius has really put Spanish CS on the map once more. He first made a name for himself at Movistar Riders, where the Spanish org became the first ever majority Spanish team, or with Movistar, it was actually a full Spanish lineup to ever get into the major. Although stats-wise, he didn't do well at the major, his other events runs with Movistar got him the chance to play in an international lineup, namely ENCE, where he did top 16 runs in both Rio 2022 and Antwerp 2022. Falcons, seeing all this, then decided to buy out the core of this ENCE roster, buying the IGL Snappy, Rifler Madden, and of course, St. Pius as their AWPer. But after a series of events that I feel would be too long for this video to explain, St. Pius got benched and played for Heroic for a bit, but now he's playing on G2. Sweden, get right.
Go down drop, they backed off from it after first contact at B, which didn't do much to hold, but now with a four-player 2-2 split, And no one immediately in rotation. They can isolate the site fast enough. See if they can find Refrax. More importantly, if they can find Guardian. Good shot to take down Exist. As Get Right continues on, Rez wants to be undetected as long as possible. He has the best chance to set the crossfire to find Guardian, or does he? Because Guardian nailed it! Oh my god, Get Right! That is old school as well! What a spray! As he transfers back over, he's got the bomb down, but it's only 6.
At one point, Sweden used to be the juggernaut of Counter-Strike talents, spawning the most legendary names during the 1.6 era and the early doors of CSGO. One of those names is Get Right, who is inarguably one of the best 1.6 players, winning multiple events, namely with Fnatic and SK Gaming respectively. But after the switch to CSGO, NIP proceeded to build a team consisting of 5 of the best Swedish talents from both 1.6 and CS Source, and they dominate the first few years, winning 87 LAN matches in a row. During these first few years of domination, NIP won the major in Cologne 2014, the only major they will ever win. But Get Right continues to put up numbers, and his mainstay on the NIP roster made him one of the best talents Sweden has ever produced. Get Right landed himself at first 2 years in a row in 2013 and 2014 respectively, establishing himself as one of the best rifler ever. For honorable mentions, there is honestly too much to mention to fit here, but the 3 most deserving ones who honestly could have been here instead of Get Right are Olofmeister during his monstrous run and being the biggest reason for Fnatic's dominance, Forrest for his longevity, and Roland for being one of the only talents from Sweden that managed to convert his talents to CS2 as well. Switzerland, Rigon.
Up to a single round discrepancy. Nice chance for Rigon as he's filled the place and now could perhaps contest. 1 and 2 out of the dig. Rigon spicy on the sidearm. And now his elbow's been spotted. We could be looking at Isaac into the 1v2 here. Flatro, no idea. Absolutely no clue. Quick tap, and there's the trade.
Thank goodness Rigon exists, or else I would have to put Harvey Maniac Weinstein on this list. I think everyone would agree that if you're watching this from Switzerland, and the best player to come out of your country has been called out for assaulting women, it would just be a travesty. Anyways, Rigon is mostly known for his major runs with the Albanian Kosovan team, Bad News Eagles, who have finessed their major runs multiple times, and also their reactions to getting into the majors are always fun to watch. Besides Juan Flatro, Rigon has always been the most important player from that core, but at the same time, when he isn't with the BNE squad, they just look lost most of the time. As evident was when Rigon was poached by Big Esports. Both BNE and Rigon plummeted stats-wise and ranking-wise. Shortly after, Big released him from his duties, and Rigon came back playing under the BNE banner. During his time in BNE, he has made 3 major runs, where in all 3, they get into the top 16. Turkey, Centaurus.
Bit of an issue here for Movistar Riders. They don't have any players over towards the B-bomb site currently. Centaurus does manage to find one. Picks up a Galil. Could potentially find another because we do have one player being very low on HP. That's Steel. Oh, Centaurus. Nice transfer. Finds them both. Still 20 seconds left on the clock. He's going to back off close towards the A-bomb site now. Could potentially find a bomb plant here as well. That will give them extra money to work with, but Alex posted up in a good position. Centaurus makes his way through and will be able to get the bomb down. Actually very well done by Centaurus. Not only getting the triple kill, also getting the bomb plant. Giving them so much more money to work with than they would have had otherwise. And dealing so much economic damage towards Movistar Riders. Centaurus creeping forward. They line up for him. Centaurus with a 1-on-5 clutch and 8.
Centaurus has been the best Turkish player for years now, and honestly, I don't think that's gonna change anytime soon. Back in the mid-2010s, he would occasionally pop up in FPL and destroy everyone while playing with 80 ping, otherwise known as the Centaurus Peak, which has literally become its own cult following. In his time at Space Soldiers, he won a bunch of lower tier tournaments, but when COVID arrived, he was a monster, joining Big Clan, and for some period of time, they were the best team in the world, where Big won 4 events in the first half of 2020. This of course sparks the nickname that Big were onliners, and after a few years, it definitely looks like they were correct, as most if not all the players who were dominant in that Big roster fell into obscurity. But Centaurus took a risk by joining another full Turkish lineup, and for a while, They were quite a laughingstock until in 2024 when Eternal Fire starts running, as they consistently pull off good results, cementing their spot in the top 10. With Centaurus as their star talisman, he got number 15 in the HLTV top 20, the oldest debutant ever to reach that list, as he was already hitting 27 years old. Honorable mentions go to Major and Woxic, with the latter probably the closest while playing in Mousesports and Hellraisers. Ukraine, simple. Well, I think it's obvious why Simple is the best Ukrainian player ever. Some would argue he's the best player to ever touch the game. That said, a short introduction in case there's some of you who never heard of him, and if that's the case, how did you get this far into the video? Anyways, Simple was a young blood that got his first chance playing at a big team with Hellraisers. Then, he also had a longer stint playing at Flipside, as he continues performing way above his peers. But he was also pretty infamous for his toxicity towards his teammate. One time, Blade, who ironically became his coach years later in Na'Vi, lost a clutch, which got Simple raging so hard, he unfriended Blade on Steam. They were a salary team, by the way. Ultimately, although Simple was doing well stats-wise, he wasn't really achieving much, which turned him towards North American Counter-Strike, joining Team Liquid with his friend Hiko. His first event playing for Liquid was the Columbus Major, where they breezed through a lot of the teams, reaching the semi-finals where they faced Luminosity. It did not end well, as Liquid failed to close out the series while being in match point on both maps. The next major, they continued to beat every opponent before losing yet again to the same core that beat them previously in the Columbus Major, this time under a new tag, SK Gaming. Then, Simple made a shocking move, going to Na'Vi, where for a while he was the only dying light of that squad, constantly having to carry 2 or more deadweights even when Electronic came to assist him. But in 2021, after long, grueling years and multiple failed attempts, Na'Vi finally won the major, beating G2 at Stockholm, where Simple deservedly got the MVP. Speaking of MVPs, he has 21 in total, even though he only ever won 17 events. It's ridiculous, honestly. Other individual trophies he have are multiple top 20 placings on the HLTV top 20 rankings, with him placing 3 times at first. Currently, he is playing under the BC Game tag, after the phase transfer broke through with Na'Vi. But with him only having a couple more months left on his contract, who knows what will happen. United Kingdom, Rattlesnake.
Very nice boost coming out just the round. Can they work one step further? It will be Rattlesnake who finds a quick headshot in return, but it's still 2 versus 4, and they're close to the site.
Just spamming away. Ali will add another, but eventually Rattlesnake is there to trade. He's doing quite a lot here, getting himself 3 kills already.
A bit of a curveball to end this video. Most people would probably say Mezzy is the best player that has came out of the United Kingdom, especially since he's a part of the current Vitality squad, which is looking like one of the strongest rosters the game has seen in a long time. And honestly, my argument for putting Rattlesnake here is that, other than him being one of the best Source players of all time, he was also the style player who could make or break how a game goes. Unlike Mizzy, whose role in Vitality, although also important, can still get away with a subpar performance as long as his 3 marksmen, Zaiwu, Robs, and Flamesy continue putting up numbers. Rattlesnake is mostly known for his time playing for Team Dignitas, and although if you look at the prize money he earned, the most was playing for Birmingham Salvo, they were actually using a live draft system where an already made-up franchise team would pick an org to play for that CGS event. The late 2000s attempt at trying to make esports an established thing should probably be made as a standalone video. It was a very interesting time. Anyways, Burbo managed to win the second CGS event, as they earned a hefty $250,000, which back then was unheard of in esports. They beat the San Francisco Optics, featuring players like Clown, GRT, and Mo?
Hey, how come you didn't give me any info?
Mo,
What's up,
pause it? No, don't pause. What are you doing?
What the fuck is the bot doing here? Who left?
Pause.
I'm back.
My Yankees gone! What the f—
Anyways, it was very close, but Birmingham Salvo managed to win against the San Francisco Optics with a 22-15 scoreline. Honestly, even after looking at the format, I still don't understand how the rounds are given and what the max rounds are. I'll just trust Liquipedia on this one. But besides playing in CGS under Birmingham Salvo, Rattlesnake also played in other events under the Dictatas and Mousesports tag, and also for the UK in a few national events. Phew, that was a long video. And I'm happy some of you stuck with me until the end. Anyways, that's all there is for this video. Let me know in the comments what video I should make next. Remember to subscribe to see more videos like this in the future, and also like it, so I know some of you actually enjoyed watching me ramble about Counter-Strike for an hour or more. Thanks for watching. Ciao ciao.